Hello everyone and welcome back to another book review. So today I'm in my car again because the house is currently loud so I can't film in there. So let's talk about books. So today I'm going to be reviewing City Volume 1 by Keiichi Arawi. Arawi. So I have read the Nichijou series by this artist, Keiichi Arawi, and I loved it. I thought it was so funny. I think it has a very specific humor style that's not going to appeal to everybody, but I had a great time reading it. I thought it was so funny. I love it. And I'm usually not a book purchaser just because I'm in a phase of my life where I'm renting and I really hate moving books, but I'm considering purchasing or at least asking for Christmas the Nichijou series because I loved it so much. So after reading that series, or partway through reading that series, I learned that the artist had put out another series called City, this series that I'm reading now, and I decided to give it a read. I wasn't really sure what my expectations should be after finishing the Nichijou series going into this because I liked it so much. I didn't want to place really high expectations on this series in case it was different or the author took a different tone. So I wanted to kind of leave myself open to experience whatever this series was. But on page 1, I was laughing and I was like, okay, it retains the same style of humor that Keiichi Arawi has, very random, very nonsensical. I will say there tends to be a little bit more of a plot point in this book, or a plot that's continuing. The plot was very, to say plot with Nichijou is kind of generous in and of itself. There's some general threads that continue throughout it, but it's very, nonsensical, but in a very funny way. This one seems to have a little bit more of a plot, but it still retains that character that Nichijou has in this very random, absurd humor that I find very funny. But I feel like it's a very particular humor style, so if you don't like that absurd humor style, you might not like this. But I do think if you read Nichijou and loved that series, you will like this series. So let's talk about City. So first of all, I want to talk about the cover. I loved the covers for Nichijou, and the same colorful, whimsical cover is here for City, which I really like. Like I said, I really like the covers of Nichijou. I thought they were really colorful and fun, and the trend continues with this, which I really like. I feel like it still has the same vibe as Nichijou. Like, if you see this, and I would be like, okay, that looks like something Keiichi Arawi put out. That's just how it looks to me. This book follows the adventures of Nagumo, or Midori. She is a college student who needs to pay rent, and she doesn't really have the money to pay rent, so she is trying to correct that situation / avoid her landlord. Plus, she's getting into a lot of fun with her friend named Nikira. Nikira is an on and off again friend. Nikira is someone who she apparently borrows money from a lot to cover some of her situations, but they hang out and they have a really good time. So on the very first page, as we can see, she's already behind on rent, so she is going to have to figure out a way to pay this to get her landlord off her back. And it's kind of a whimsical adventure as she's just bumbling through life as a college student, but she kind of falls into this part-time job that might pay her rent, trying to appease her landlord, stay friends with Nikira, who she also sometimes, argues with, but retaining that true, I don't know what to call it, ROE style. There's a lot of little story plots that don't seem to fit into the main story. It has that very random, absurd characteristic, and the style of humor is the same, which I really love. I think this was a great entry. Usually I find that volume 1 struggles in a manga series because the author is finding their footing. I think maybe the author found their footing in the first series, or at least the Nichijou series that he wrote, and now he kind of is retaining that same style, just kind of with a different cast of characters or a different setting. And for that reason, I think this volume 1 did not suffer from the things that I find other manga series volume 1 tends to suffer from, and I really appreciate that. This would be a very high 4-star. This was super funny. I can already tell that I really am going to enjoy this series. I'm definitely going to get volume 2 as soon as I can get my hands on it, and I highly recommend. I recommend maybe if you're interested in trying Keiichi Arawi, this volume at least seemed to have a lot more of a plot line. So if you're kind of concerned about just the randomness or the lack of plot that might be associated with Nichijou, maybe starting with this one that has a little bit more cohesivity. Is that even a word? I'm making it up. cohesiveness, a little bit more cohesiveness to the plot line, maybe go with this one. Again, I've only read volume 1, so I don't know how the other volumes are going to play out, but that's just something I noticed. But overall, I highly recommend. I think if you like that absurd humor style, you might like this, and I think everyone should give it a read. It's super fun, wholesome, just an enjoyable read that I already tell I'm going to enjoy. So if you've read City or have any comments on it, please let me know down below. Other than that, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.